Try answering this. What happens when a state runs out of money but the people still live there? Streets crumble, hospitals close, schools vanish, and crime takes over. It's not a movie plot. It's already unfolding across parts of America. From states drowning in debt to regions so dependent on one industry that one shutdown could collapse everything, this is the dark underbelly of the U.S. economy. You'll be surprised which states are quietly heading toward the edge. And if the national economy crashes, these 10 states won't just suffer, they'll fall first. Is your state already showing the signs? Let's find out. Number 10, Mississippi. You might think of this place as just quiet southern farmland, but look a little closer. Mississippi, the poorest state in the U.S., is already on life support. Nearly 1 in 5 residents lives below the poverty line, and less than 54% of working-age adults even participate in the workforce. That's the lowest rate in the country. The job market is barely moving. Growth has flatlined, and while other states welcome innovation and outside investment, Mississippi sees almost no foreign business presence, just 0.003% of GDP. You'd be shocked to see how entire towns seem frozen in time, crumbling under the weight of neglect. Schools are underfunded, hospitals are closing, and yet people still live here, fighting every day to survive an economy that's failing them. The question is, if a crash hits, how long before this entire system gives out? Would anyone notice if entire counties went dark? Number 9. You smell the oil, hear the jazz, but what's harder to catch is the quiet decline. Louisiana may dazzle on the surface, but deep down it's one of the most financially fragile states in America. Over 18% of residents live in poverty, and its economy is dangerously dependent on oil and gas industries that are vulnerable to global shocks. But guess what? This state also ranks near the bottom in education, infrastructure, and health outcomes. Add in frequent natural disasters, and you've got a perfect storm, literally and economically. The state's rainy day fund is slim. Budget deficits loom year after year. You'd be surprised how quickly a state like this could collapse under national pressure. What happens if the oil market crashes again or a major hurricane hits during an economic downturn? These aren't what-ifs. These are warnings. We're watching a state on the edge and not enough people are paying attention. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe. That's how we keep bringing you sharp, real-world breakdowns like this. These stories matter, especially if your state's next. It looks stable, even strong, but behind the scenes, millions are in financial distress. Want to know why a state once seen as the backbone of American industry is now cracking from within? Stay with us. It's about to get even more surprising. Number 8. It looks like a comeback story until you walk down the wrong block. Michigan, once the beating heart of American industry, is quietly bleeding. The auto factories still run, but the foundation is cracked. In 2024, Michigan had the highest percentage of financially distressed residents in the entire country. Over 38% of people here are behind on their bills, struggling with overdue accounts, bankruptcies, and credit defaults. You'd be shocked how fast things fall apart when the economy even slightly stumbles. But this state, it's already slipping. The issues run deeper than Detroit. In many towns, storefronts are boarded up, schools are underfunded, and roads crumble in silence. And it's not just about jobs, it's about stability. Michigan's economy has tried to diversify, but manufacturing still makes up a huge portion of its GDP. That means one shift in the global supply chain or another auto industry downturn, and tens of thousands could be out of work overnight. And here's what most people miss. Michigan isn't just broke, it's exhausted. Generations have endured boom and bust cycles that always seem to end the same way. Lost pensions, ghost towns, and dreams that never made it out of the assembly line. You might drive through and think things are okay, but guess what? Behind those windows, millions are scraping by. When the next national recession hits, and it will, states like Michigan won't just struggle, they'll unravel quietly, quickly. And unless you're watching closely, you won't even notice until it's too late. Number 7, Texas. Everything's bigger here, especially the problems no one's talking about. Texas may look like an economic powerhouse, but beneath that shiny exterior is a storm brewing. In 2024, this state ranked number 2 for financial distress among residents, with nearly 36% facing credit issues, overdue debt, and rising bankruptcies. Surprised? Most people are. But guess what? Texas's rapid growth may actually be its biggest weakness. Cities like Austin and Dallas are booming, but many rural areas are hollowing out. The cost of living is skyrocketing, wages aren't keeping up, and housing prices are pushing people to the edge. Then there's the energy sector, an industry the state leans on heavily. Oil market volatility has already caused thousands of layoffs in recent years, and any global shock could hit hard and fast. But it doesn't stop there. The state's social safety nets are thin, and its healthcare system ranks among the worst in the country. And while there's been a tech surge, the benefits haven't reached the everyday Texan. You'd be shocked how many people work 2 jobs and still can't afford basic healthcare or rent. The image of strength hides a growing divide. Texas might appear unstoppable, but the cracks are showing. And when the national economy falters, the fall here might be louder than anywhere else. Before we move forward, take a second to subscribe. This is how we keep digging up the truth, bringing you deep dives into what's really happening behind the headlines. If your state hasn't come up yet, you might want to stay tuned. A state once known for strength and leadership, now holding the title no one wants, worst funded pension system in America. Could this financial time bomb go off sooner than we think? You'll want to see what's next. Number 6, Illinois. Illinois. You ever seen a house so big it looks strong until you find out the foundation's crumbling? That's Illinois. A state with bold history and powerful institutions now sitting on one of the biggest financial ticking time bombs in the country. You'd be shocked to know that Illinois has the worst funded pension system in America, with some estimates putting unfunded liabilities at over $140 billion. That's not a typo, and no one seems to have a real plan to fix it, but it doesn't end there. The state's budget reserve is one of the lowest in the country, leaving almost no cushion if a recession hits. So when the economy turns, services get cut, layoffs follow, infrastructure stalls, and regular residents, the ones just trying to survive, get hit the hardest. The schools, the transit systems, the hospitals, they all feel it first. And here's the gut punch. Taxes keep rising. Illinois residents already face some of the highest property taxes in the nation, all to pay for promises the state can't afford. But guess what? People are leaving. Fast. In fact, Illinois has lost population for 10 straight years, bleeding out middle-class families who are tired of footing the bill for a sinking ship. Meanwhile, cities like Chicago, powerful, iconic, are dealing with debt of their own. It's not a single problem, it's layers of crisis all stacking higher every year. And while people still talk about Illinois like it's untouchable, insiders know better. When the next economic downturn comes, this state may not just wobble, it may crack wide open. So if you're living here, the question isn't will it happen, it's are we ready when it does? Number 5, Hawaii. Hawaii. Paradise, they say. But even paradise can go broke. Behind the beaches and palm trees, Hawaii is one of the most financially fragile states in America, and most people have no idea. You'd be surprised how many residents are struggling just to get by in a place tourists save their whole lives to visit. In 2024, Hawaii ranked near the bottom for economic performance and the top for cost of living. But guess what? It's not just expensive, it's isolated. Over 20% of the state's GDP depends on tourism, which means global events, pandemics, wildfires, airline slowdowns, hit harder here than almost anywhere else. Just look at what happened during the pandemic or after the Maui wildfires. The entire economy staggered, and it hasn't fully recovered. Even essential goods, milk, gas, medicine, cost way more because almost everything has to be imported. Housing? Forget it. Locals are being priced out of their own communities. In fact, a growing number of Hawaii natives are leaving the islands altogether, moving to the mainland just to survive. It's an exodus that's rarely talked about, but very real. And while government debt remains high, budget flexibility is low. The economy has almost no backup plan if tourism takes another hit. One global disruption could pull the rug out from under the entire system. That dream of endless sunshine? For many locals, it's become a daily storm cloud of financial pressure. So the question is, how long can paradise hold together when the foundation is already cracking? Take a second to subscribe before we continue. That one click helps us keep uncovering the stories nobody else is telling. If your state hasn't shown up yet, don't get too comfortable. We're not done. It looks like glitz, glamour, and casinos, but the truth behind the lights might leave you speechless. Want to know how close one of America's most iconic states is to losing the jackpot? Number 4, Nevada. Bright lights, flashing jackpots, but take a step behind the curtain and you'll find a state living on the edge. Nevada thrives on one thing: entertainment and tourism. In fact, over 1/4 of its entire workforce is tied to hospitality and leisure. But guess what? That's exactly what makes it dangerously vulnerable. The moment people stop spending, this economy doesn't slow, it crashes, and it's happened before. Just look back to the Great Recession. Nevada was ground zero for the housing collapse, with the highest foreclosure rate in the nation for years. Entire neighborhoods were abandoned almost overnight. Fast forward to now, and while Vegas has bounced back, the foundation is still shaky. You'd be shocked how quickly a drop in tourism, caused by anything from a global recession to a natural disaster, can ripple through every inch of this state. Here's another kicker. Nevada has one of the smallest state budgets per capita, with very limited funding for healthcare, education, and emergency services. There's no state income tax, which sounds great until there's no money for basic infrastructure when disaster strikes. It relies heavily on sales taxes and tourism dollars, which dry up fast during downturns. And while cities like Las Vegas continue to expand, many rural areas are being left behind. Unemployment gaps remain high outside urban zones. Access to quality healthcare and education is patchy at best. Some counties report shortages of teachers, doctors, and even reliable internet. It's a high-risk game, and not everyone's winning. The truth is, Nevada's economy is built like a casino, exciting, fast-moving, but fragile. And when the next big shock hits, this state could fold before most people realize the cards were even stacked. Number 3, Kentucky. Rolling hills, coal country charm. But look closer, and it's a story of decline hiding in plain sight. Kentucky, once a proud manufacturing and mining powerhouse, now faces a dangerous reality. Its economy is among the most distressed in the nation. Nearly 20% of residents live below the poverty line, and in rural areas that number climbs even higher. But guess what? It's not just about income, it's about opportunity disappearing. You'd be surprised how entire counties have lost access to basic services. Hospitals are closing, schools are underfunded, the opioid crisis has devastated entire communities, and recovery is slow, uneven, and underfunded. Meanwhile, job growth is sluggish, and tech investment is nearly non-existent. The world's moving forward, but some parts of Kentucky feel completely left behind. And here's the part no one talks about. Kentucky has one of the highest dependency rates on federal aid, from food assistance to Medicaid. That means if national budgets tighten, people here suffer quickly. The state's pension system is severely underfunded and infrastructure is aging fast. Even though Kentucky's cities are trying to modernize, the gap between urban and rural is enormous. The moment the economy slows, there's no safety net strong enough to catch the people already on the edge, and that edge is getting thinner every year. When the next recession hits, this won't just be a state in trouble, it could be a state in freefall. Don't forget to subscribe. That one click makes all the difference. It keeps this channel going, keeps the stories flowing, and ensures you're always one step ahead of the next big collapse. It's known for Southern pride and deep roots, but what happens when a state falls behind in nearly every key indicator, from education to economy? This one's slipping fast. Number 2, Alabama. It's where tradition runs deep and communities are tight. But look a little closer and you'll find something unraveling beneath the surface. Alabama is quietly falling behind, and not in just one area. The state ranks in the bottom 5 nationally for healthcare, education, infrastructure, and economic opportunity. You'd be shocked how many people in rural counties lack access to clean water, broadband internet, or even a local hospital. And when the economy takes a hit, places like this don't just suffer, they collapse. The poverty rate in Alabama hovers around 16.5%, with child poverty even higher. Many families are surviving paycheck to paycheck. And when inflation hits or jobs vanish, there's no cushion to fall back on. And guess what? A large portion of the workforce is tied to low-wage, labor-intensive sectors like poultry processing, retail, or public service jobs, positions that are often the first to go during a recession. And that's not the only vulnerability. Alabama's education system ranks among the worst in the country, according to multiple national reports. That means the pipeline to future jobs, innovation, and competitiveness, it's already choking. Fewer graduates, lower test scores, limited technical training. So, how can a state compete when it's not preparing the next generation to lead? The situation becomes even more concerning when you look at infrastructure. More than 40% of rural roads are in poor or mediocre condition, and aging bridges across the state threaten daily commutes and local economies. With low public investment and limited federal dollars reaching some areas, there's little hope of rapid improvement. But perhaps the biggest red flag of all, Alabama is heavily dependent on federal funding to keep essential services running. From education to Medicaid, the state's financial foundation is deeply tied to Washington. So, when national cuts come, or another recession sweeps the country, Alabama won't have the savings or the systems in place to protect its people. It's a state with pride, history, and resilience. But pride doesn't pay the bills. And when the cracks finally widen, Alabama may find itself at the top of a list no one wants to be. Number 1. West Virginia. Situated within the mountains, it's a place of natural beauty, hard work, and deep roots. But you'd be surprised how fast those roots are being pulled from the ground. West Virginia is one of the most economically vulnerable states in America today. Over the last decade, it has lost more population than almost any other state, shrinking year after year as jobs disappear and young people leave in search of better futures. But guess what? That's just the beginning. This state ranks dead last in workforce participation, with fewer than 55% of working-age adults employed or even seeking work. That's not just a stat, it's a signal. When nearly half your population is outside the workforce, your economy is running on fumes. And while the coal industry once built this state, it's now left it behind. Thousands of mining jobs are gone, and there hasn't been a reliable replacement. Many communities that once thrived on coal have become ghost towns, quiet, empty, and hopeless. Healthcare is troubling. West Virginia has the highest rate of drug overdose deaths per capita in the nation, and access to mental health services is severely limited. Hospitals in rural areas are shutting down, forcing residents to drive hours just for basic care. Combined with high rates of diabetes, heart disease, and obesity, the state's public health system is overwhelmed and underfunded. Education, again, is in the bottom rankings. Graduation rates are low, and few students pursue higher education in-state. Those who do often leave and don't come back. Why? Because the job market simply doesn't support skilled labor on a large scale. And here's something even more alarming. Nearly 1/3 of West Virginia's state budget comes from federal aid. That means when national policies tighten or federal support slows, the entire system trembles. It's not just bad planning, it's a slow-motion collapse already in progress. West Virginia may be beautiful, proud, and full of history, but economically it's one of the first states likely to suffer deeply in a national downturn. And if that downturn happens soon, many of these communities may never recover. So there you have it. 10 U.S. states that could be the first to collapse if the economy crashes. Each one has its own story, its own challenges, but the signs are everywhere. Rising poverty, crumbling infrastructure, vanishing jobs, and a deep dependence on fragile systems. Some of these places once stood strong, industrial giants, cultural icons, but now they're hanging by a thread. And here's the big question. Is your state next? Are you paying attention to the warning signs in your own backyard? If you found this video eye-opening, do us a favor, subscribe, like, and share. It helps more than you know. Every click helps us keep producing content that tells the truth, digs deeper, and uncovers what others won't. Because in times like this, staying informed isn't just smart, it's survival. Thanks for watching and stay sharp, because the next collapse may be closer than you think.